Bruchim Aboim B'Shem Yegin Shir Heter. I'd like to welcome everyone to today's shir from Yakov Zev Smith Shlita on when wearing can cause carrying. We would like to have the great schus of sponsoring a shir called Yegin Shir Heter 718-851-8651 or email tapecenter@yeshivanet.com.
Recently we heard a few interesting shilas that I think deserved a shir. Someone got married and he had a beautiful chassan watch and he wanted to know if he could wear it on Shabbos. And as he didn't wear a regular watch on Shabbos, but this he felt was a tachshit. Is it mutter for a man to wear a tachshit in a place where there's no Erev? We had a shilah before the summer. A bacher was going, he told me his derech is when he's walking in the street, he often takes off his glasses when there's something that's not tzniistic. Question is, could he wear the glasses on Shabbos? Because if he'll take it off, he might come to carry it. Then we had a sticky issue. A man insisted on wearing his wedding ring on Shabbos. Should the family tell him it's maybe wrong? Is it wrong, taka? Is it only a heter, a chumrah? I think the most interesting shayla, someone never hurt his foot. He broke his foot. He was wobbling on crutches, and with one foot he had a cast. The other foot he had a shoe. Someone told him with great authority, don't you know it's a beferish and mishnah, you're not allowed to go out with one shoe. So what should I do? You're not allowed to go out with one shoe. So the common denominator of these, and probably 20 plus more, is the following question. We're talking about something that l'chayra should not be an isav haitzah. L'chayra, a tachshit should be mutter. Glasses, if you need them for vision, is mutter. But in this particular case, there is a chashash he might come to carry. Is that enough of a reason to say something that is ordinarily mutter, the mashal tachshit, should become asa because he might come to carry? And of course, if you realize there's going to be negeya to various types of sunglasses and contact lenses, it's negeya for the winter shilas about gloves and earmuffs, and a host of other questions. But one thing I think should be clear, we should not underestimate the importance of this chashash. Because don't forget, we Yidden were deprived of 3 mitzvahs yikarais because of a remote chashash you might come to carry. We don't blow shofar on Shabbos, we don't take dalet minim on Shabbos, we don't lay Megillah in Eretz Yisrael on Shabbos, all of a remote chashash you might come to carry. In other words, something that is heter gama, is actually a mitzvah, we don't do because of a concern of carrying. And if you notice, daik v'tishkach, the next time you're zeich to learn Masech Shabbos and Erevin, the bulk, if not the majority of both those parakim are Isurei D'Rabbanan. Muktzah, Shehiyah, Chazara, Mekechu Memka, Shema this, Shema that. Most of Erevin is the Rabbanans, because he has to be Shema Shabbos, not the Michalo Shabbos. A Shema is focused on every eventuality, even remote concerns. But what's unusual regarding this specific question, something that's really mutter, do we have to ask him because he might come to carrying? I found no less than 8 Gemaras that introduce this chashash. And we'll mention them very briefly, but once we see the Gemaras, we'll be able to see the parameters and apply it lamaisa. The Mishnah says in Shabbos, Daf Samach Amud Aleph, V'loi biyachid bizman she'ein b'ragloi mako. So the Rashi and the Gemara explains, we're talking about a person who's walking out with one shoe. Going out in Rishus Haram with one shoe is asa, because you look very funny. They're going to laugh at you. But if he has a mak on the other foot, so it's understandable why he's only wearing one shoe, then it's mutter. So we have a Mishnah, which is quoted in Shulchan Aruch Shin Aleph Zayin. This very chashash to go out ordinarily with one shoe is asa. The second halacha, also in the Mishnah, Shabbos Daf Samach, even if you hold Shabbos man tefillin, you're allowed to wear tefillin on Shabbos, but you can't wear tefillin b'Rishus Harabim, even though it's a malbish on Shabbos, if you're allowed to wear it. Why? Because a person might have to go to the bathroom, he'll take off his tefillin, and he'll end up carrying them. Now this is a double chashash. Who said he's going to have to go to the bathroom? Who said he'll carry it? But again, a yid has to be Shema Shabbos. And this is quoted in Shulchan Aruch Shin Aleph Sif Zayin. In Shin Aleph Chav Gimel, Zagim Arugim, which means types of bells, which fall off, it might fall off, and he'll end up carrying it. In fact, Mr. Brura in Shin Aleph on Sif Chav Gimel adds another case from the Gemara. Young children that are not wealthy, that are wearing fancy silver or gold zagim, bells, or any type of jewelry for that matter, chashin and dilma v'chaychi aleh, they're going to laugh at him. It's inappropriate. Oh, you, Anaya, Maisha, Aisha, Tzimtish, like, what are you doing? And Mr. Bura adds, and the father will find out, and he'll carry it. He doesn't want his children to be laughed at. So we see something that really is jewelry, but they might come to laugh at him, and it's awesome. The next case is interesting, because, someone told me recently, now the style, the hats is much smaller brims. So he said it conforms with the Mishnah. With the Gemara, I'm sorry. Now, I don't think that's why we have these small brim hats. I think it's just to make money, changing the styles to make more money. But there's a little truth to what he suggested. Because in the Gemara Shabbos, Kuflam et Chesam et Beis, the Gemara is a stira. Sayon is a hat, either it's asa or it's muta. For Gemara, make up your mind. Then why should a hat be asa? So the Gemara says, if mehedek might be muta, a hedek is one halacha, and loy mehedek, if it's not mehedek, is a different halacha. Now, what does this mean? So Taka Tosfos learns, mehedek means it's a firm brim, and if a person puts on a hat with a firm brim, l'shem oil, to protect him from the sun or from the rain, it's taka an issa wearing the hat als oil. That's Tosfos' understanding of the sugya. Rather than a Paisim say today we don't wear a hat als oil, so even a wide brim tefach hat is mutter. So that suggestion that today's hats are als chumrah is really not true. But what's negeil in Yoneinu, Rashi learns the opposite pshat. And Rashi learns a hat that's mehedek is mutter. Loi mehedek is awesome. What does that mean? So Rashi, because if the hat is not secure fit, a wind, a ruach matziyah will come and blow it off, and he'll end up carrying it. So here we see something unbelievable. A hat is a yitz teferes. We make a bracha. So the teferes is a person's hat, and it's awesome if the hat might fly off and you'll end up carrying. And this is gepaskin in Shin Aleph, Mem Aleph. We'll soon see the details. The sixth sugya is a Gemara in Shabbos, Kuf Mem Aleph, Amid Beis. Lo yetze katan b'minol gadol, aval yetzehu b'chol gadol. So the way Rashi explains that a small person should not wear a big shoe. Why? Simple. If you wear a very big shoe, it falls off. And you don't want to struggle, so instead of struggling with the shoe, you end up carrying it. But choluk gadol, a big shirt he's allowed to wear. And the way Rashi and the Aruch HaShulchan and our Sim and Shanalf and Bey explains a little more, a shirt doesn't fall off, and even if it would fall off, you wouldn't go undressed in the street, so you'll put it back on. But here we see wearing a shoe that's too big is asa al tzachashash haitzah. The seventh Gemara is in Shabbos, Kuf Malf and the Beis. A woman cannot go out with a minal merufit, a torn shoe. Why? Because she's embarrassed, they'll laugh at her, and she doesn't want to suffer the humiliation. She'll end up carrying that shoe. And the eighth Gemara, last but not least, which of course is the king of our sugya, and probably if we had time we could give a whole share about that sugya, and that is the big sugya of Gezeres Tachshitin. To make a very long story very short, the Mishnah in Shabbos Nun Zayin Amar Aleph says, a woman's not allowed to wear jewelry on Shabbos. The Gemara in Nun Testament Beis, Samach Dalar Beis explains why. She might take it off to show it off, and then she will just carry it instead of putting it back on. Dilma Shalfa Umachaviele Va'asil Asuye. And we'll soon see how to apply this lemaisa. But if you think about it, we have a few different reasons to be chayshish that something that's mutter gamar you're not allowed to wear. Either they're going to laugh at the person, they'll take it off. It might fall off if it's too big. He might want to show it off. But in all cases, it's a chashash of haitzah. Now, I want to just add a point. We're talking about a Shomer Shabbos, and Elachim. Why should he come to carry? The teretz is if he has a sudden problem, they're laughing at him, it's falling off, he wants to show it off, So a person is like sort of in a nefesh mibahala mode. He's in the panic mode. So he's not thinking. So once he's busy, it's falling off, he's panicking, they're laughing at him. He doesn't think, and you don't think. You forget it's Shabbos, you forget it's Asa. And this is the sugya in Shas of Chash Hoitzah. As if this is not enough, the Paiskim, the Rishonim, add other concerns. We'll soon see the Ramah in Shin Aleph Tezayin says to wear a slipper that falls off is Asa, because he might come to carry it. The Shibolei Aleket says a person should not wear gloves on Shabbos, because he might take it off and he'll come to carry. And most interestingly, the Chayodam in Nun Aleph Gimel, Nun Vav Gimel, says that a person should not wear brilliant glasses on Shabbos because he might come to carry it. Now, of course, we have to explain each one individually, but it's all the same chashash of a person that if he's not himself, he's a little panicky, he'll end up carrying. But before we apply this to specific case, I wanted to make just two quick points. Imagine someone has, the Moshe slippers, it's a good example, and he bought the slippers at a Hamish company, and they write in it, this is only for weekday use, not for Shabbos. These slippers fall off, you can't wear it on Shabbos. Okay. So he'll only wear it during the week. Lamais, he forgot. Shabbos morning he goes out and he's wearing the slippers. And he's in the middle of 16th Avenue and he comes, I'm wearing Asa slippers. What should he do? So we'll say, what's the shayla? If someone's carrying, what should he do? Go to the nearest Makom Patur and drop it, right? Wrong. Because these slippers are not hoitzah. He's not carrying, he's wearing them. The only problem is he might come to carry. So he shouldn't have worn them, but it's not hoitzah. He's not carrying a wallet in his pocket by mistake. So if a person's wearing a malbush gomer, and the only thing is the chashash he might come to carry, but once he went out in the street, what should he do? Keep on going and go to Beis Medrash and take him, then change there. But if you're carrying, you have to stop. But this is not hoitzah. This is a chashash he might come with a hoitzah. And Taka, the Magen Avram in Sivka and Chafei says this beferish, if you're carrying something that really is mutter but it's a chashash eitzah, keep on going. Zok the Prima Godam afanart, and that's we have to know what's asa al tzaitzah and what's only asa al tzigzeira. If it's only al tzigzeira, cut your losses and keep on going. And number two, Klal, the Prima Godam in Eish Lavram Memzayin, Mishtabur Sivka Lamed Gimel, says this in a different context, but it's certainly true in our sugya. Hakol lefi hazman v'hamakayim. The issa is a person will end up carrying it. If society has changed, if social normal klolim have changed, halacha changes. Halacha adjusts and adapts to the society. If something is funny today, it's awesome. If something was funny, but today is not funny, and no one's going to laugh at him, and he's not self-conscious, it's not awesome. This halacha depends on the prevalent metzias in those days. Now let's apply it. Lamais, I hope you should certainly have enough information. Let's start with the story we began. Someone was told that you can't wear one shoe in the street, it's a beferish Mishnah. Yes, the Moichiach, the Balmusa was right. You're not allowed to wear one shoe in the street because you might come to carry. But he forgot the other half of the Mishnah. If a person's never struggling with crutches, or even not crutches, he has an ace bandage, and it's very obvious his problem, so then it's mutter. So he's right, a person stam, a healthy person can't wear one shoe, but makosem mechiach midin Gemara and Shulchan Aruch is mutter. A sticky question someone asked us once, he had a problem with an ingrown toenail. So he didn't want to wear a shoe over his socks, but Lamaisa, he wanted to go out with one shoe and one sock. Now, that is not makosei mechiach alav. So, if he puts up a sign, please pray for my ingrown toenail, that might be a new idea. Or if I saw the Chut Hashani in Chelik Daled on the Kuf Chaval, says if a person is limping, he's walking carefully, that maybe is also makosei mechiach alav. But if he's walking normally, one shoe and one sock, even though he has a problem, but if it's not makasei mechiach alav, I think that's a problem. I know someone else asked me, he had some problem with the toe, so he had one shoe and one slipper. Again, if there's no makaseh machiach alav, that's our sugya. So he has to find an eitz. Maybe shataka walk a little differently. But basically, when makaseh machiach alav, it's okay. Now, of course, you might wonder, why are people so critical? Right away, they decide he's not normal, they're going to laugh at him. Why can't people be understanding? You see someone walking, a normal person with one shoe and one sock, or one shoe and one slipper. Why don't you understand something's wrong? Okay, a good kasha, but people are people, and the Gemara seems to be concerned that people are quick to condemn. I heard this shayla, I didn't see it, but I heard it was told with a true story. Someone came to shul and he forgot to bring his hat. So he sent his son, his 13-year-old, go home and bring back my hat. But the problem is, it wasn't a typical hat, it was a shtreimel. So a 13-year-old walking in our streets with a shtreimel is a concern, like our Gemara, about a child wearing inappropriate jewelry. Now, if you live in maybe a Sha'arim, somewhere, shtreimel, okay, talk about in our neighborhoods. So if the child is sent home to wear to shul his father's talis, I can understand. That's it's worn by many people. Svardim, Yekisha. But for a child, a 13-year-old who clearly is not married, even if you get married early, this is mamash our sugya. But I have another question. Someone is giving a share in the summer about halachos shatnez, and he wanted to make a hands-on, so he wanted to bring his winter coat and show how to check. But his mouth, he forgot to bring it before Shabbos. Can he walk in the street with a winter coat and it's only 95 degrees outside? Now, that's obviously a very strange thing to do. He's a chayfetz chashud, why you walk with a winter coat. So both of these cases are perfect candidates of our sugya. Again, you see someone walking the street with a winter coat, whether it's strange. That's what I would have said. Rabbi Shlomo Zalman is quoted in Shmir HaShabbos in Yud Ches Ha'ora Yud Tes, that Taka says this, but then he has a kasha, and I'd love to hear a good teretz to this. He has a kasha that the Mechaba in Shin Aleph Chaf Aleph, based on a Tosefta, says a person's allowed to go with a beged that even if only some people wear it. Yoitze b'sak v'yiriya v'chamila. So the Mishnah Berurah, a sack that only royim pasturers wear, but since a group of people wear this as a normal beged, you could wear that beged even though you're not a pastor. In fact, even when it's not raining, you're allowed to wear this beged, because since people wear it, it's considered a derech malbush. In other words, as Mishnah Berurah explains, once it's a derech malbush, is mutter for all, even though you're not a roya. That's the halacha in Siv Chaf Aleph, based on a Tosefta. So, for Shlomo Zalman, we see once it's a malbush, it's mutter. A coat is a malbush, a shtreimel is a malbush. Now, this started me thinking, because it's not just a question on my shayla. This is a question on the sugya. If the Gemara in Shabbos Daf Samach says you're not allowed to wear something that will cause laughter, so how could the Tosefta say that you're allowed to wear a sock even though you're not a raya? So again, I was thinking maybe once something is a beged, a real mode of clothing is mutter. The cases of laughing is a shoe that's too big, or a shoe that's torn, or a cotton wearing jewelry. It's not a malbush. Jewelry is not a malbush. Maybe a torn shoe is not a shoe. Again, I don't have a good teretz, but this is something that to think about. But if you apply the Tosefta that a malbush is always mutter, it's very hard to asa wearing a coat in the summer. Unless you're going to say a chiddush that during the summer, a coat's not a malbush. Which is hard to say. It is a malbush, just you don't wear it. But again, the kash is better than the teretz. I'd love to hear a teretz from someone. I would appreciate if I hear a teretz. What's an easier question to deal with is, let's say you went to shul and it was raining, pouring rain. So you wore your meal. Now, when you came home, as often during the summer, there's a total clearing. There's not a cloud in the sky. Are you allowed to walk home wearing your meal? It might rain later. It might get lost in shul. So do you have to be chayish that a person walking in the street with a raincoat, they're going to laugh at him? It's perfectly, beautiful sky. The answer is that's for sure not. No one's going to laugh at you because they're all doing the same. Everybody else is wearing the coats home because, no one wants to leave it in shul. It's become socially acceptable to wear a thin raincoat, even a male especially, when it's not raining. The question of a heavy winter coat or a shtreimel for a young child, I think that's a stickle of a tzarachin. Next question about the hats. So again, till today, what's wrong with the hat? But this is a Gemara and a Mechaber Shulchan Aruch. Siyana is also, unless it will not go flying off. So taka shtraimel, a heavy smodik that sits on the head, does not fly off. L'char is not a shayla. But our felt hats that do go flying off with the wind, why is that mutter? So first of all, I saw the Chut Hashani and Dalet Kuf Lamed Zayin says, the question is, Ruach Matsuya. Will the hat go flying in a normal wind? You don't have to be chayshish for an abnormal wind. So again, many hats are good fit and they don't go flying off with the wind. The question is, let's say it's not such a tight fit. So I remember I saw by my Rabbi, I never knew at the time, but they would, before they went out, they would tilt the yarmulke backwards and then put the hat on top of the yarmulke. That was definitely being done to make it mehadik. When you put a hat on, if it's, it just fits on your head. But if you push it on and you almost wedge it in together with the yarmulke, that's what the Paiskim say the eighth would be to make it mahadik b'roishai. So again, the tight fit keeps the hat in place. The Shulchan Aruch has a different, this is in Shin Aleph, the Shulchan Aruch has a different suggestion, and that is if you have a string under the hat, which is a good idea, of course, for a cowboy hat, but for our hats it doesn't seem to be applicable. And the other heter, which really is, Mishnah Berurah says, is Machabes in Kuf Lamed, in Sif Lamed Zayin, and which I still see by older Yidden. It seems to be an older minig today. I don't see it that much, but you still see it by Amolog Yidden. Before they leave the shul, they take off the yarmulke, fold it up, and put it in the talazekel. They will go in the street only with the hat and not a yarmulke. They get home, they have a yarmulke at home waiting. What's the cheshbon? The teretz is pashut. The problem is a wind will come and blow off the hat, and you'll be frustrated, and instead of putting it on again, you'll end up carrying the hat. But no one's going to walk in the street b'gilui rosh. So Mishnah Berurah says the only concern of a hat is when there's nothing, when there is a yarmulke under the hat. To go just with the hat without a yarmulke would be mutter even if it's not in the haduk. So a person wants to create that situation, he takes off his yarmulke and only goes with the hat. But what the Paiskim say, today most people don't take off the yarmulke. What's the heter? So again, if you can make it tight fit, it's certainly better. But here we'll use a lefi makam uzman heter. Since in our society, most people are makpid to always go with a hat, and they will never walk in the street without a hat. So we're back to the original heter. Even if it does fly off, you will put it on rather than carry it. Because just like you won't go with b'gilui rosh, many people will not go without a hat. So that would be the heter, even if a person is wearing a yarmulke. Now, Rabbi Yashiv in the Aruch Shabbos Chelik Aleph Tes Mem Hey says that's only a heter when there's an erev and you don't believe in the erev. But it doesn't mean there's a heter to go b'shus harabim. So he limited that heter, but I think the Velt is Saimach, either it's mehedek or a person will not walk without a hat. The next question is a different level question, because gloves, it seems to be well known that you're not allowed to wear gloves on Shabbos, but it's not a Gemara. Gloves is a malbush. Why should a malbush be asa? So the source of this chumrah is a Shibali Haleket, one of the Gdolei Rishonim, in Siman Kuf Zayin. But you have to hear why he says it's asa and to what extent it's asa. He says gloves, you could find a heter because it's a malbush, but choy chani behem lahachmer. I'm concerned because a person that wants to use his hands either to scratch himself, he has an itch, or to remove lice, kina, won't be able to do it with a gloved hand. So inevitably he'll take off the glove, and instead of putting it back, he'll end up carrying. So the makar is not a Gemara like the previous examples, it's a Rishon. But he doesn't say it's asa, he says, I'm concerned. Why is he concerned? Because you might have to scratch yourself or remove a lice. Now the belt says you might shake someone's hand, that's fine, but it doesn't say that in the Rishonim. Okay. Then he says, but there's an eitzah. If you attach the gloves before Shabbos, that's mutter. We'll soon see why. But if you notice, the concern is you might need your hands to scratch or remove lice. Look at the Taz, Mishnah Berurah adds, you might be a mosquito. But this is the Shulchan Aruch, the Shibali Haleket, regarding gloves. Shin Aleph, Sif Lamed Zayin. The Mechaber also uses a pretty mild lashon. Mutter lotzais b'Shabbos b'tiyadayim. V'yesh mi shemachmir lahatzrich sheyitferei me'erev Shabbos. It's mutter and some are machmer. V'royu lachash l'dvarav. So again, if someone wears gloves, you certainly cannot look down at the person. It's not awesome. It's a royu lachash l'dvarav. So those that are machmir, tavilei and bracha, those that are mekel, they're going mi'ikad din. But what's interesting is the Shulchan Aruch records the Shbali Aleket's eitzah, attach them to the coat. Now, what does that help? Frek the Taz, how does that help? If you take off the gloves to scratch yourself, and you leave the gloves dangling, even though they're attached to the coat, it's not a derech malbush. So you're right to carrying. So what does it help attaching before Shabbos? So the Bialacha on Takan Awasim and Sif Lamed Zayin quotes in Nahar Shalom that you're right. You can't walk with the gloves dangling. You have to wear the gloves. But in the worst scenario, he will forget and leave the gloves dangling. He's not carrying an Issa Deraisa of Derech Haitzah in his hand. It's just dangling attached to a coat. So he reduced the Issa to a Derabanan in the worst scenario. So because of that, we could say you'll let to go L'chatchila with gloves. Hopefully he won't take it off. And even if he does, it's not Haitzah Deraisa. The second shot that I saw the Achrayim say, a more practical shot, why are suddenly your gloves attached? I mean, your child or grandchild, you have these clips, fine, but why are you having attached gloves? So you're making a built-in heter. Once you have a heter, you won't carry it in the first place. So it seems there are two pshatim in the Shibali Aleket's addition to attach it. Either it reduces from a deraisa to drabanan, or it's a heter. But one thing all agree, if you attach the gloves before Shabbos, it's not a heter to leave them hanging. You have to wear them on Shabbos. Now, this is something kedai to know. This heter of attaching them before Shabbos would be mutti even for a Baal Nefesh. So if someone knows he's sensitive to cold, he wants to wear gloves, it's very simple. You could get a pair of clips, put them on before Shabbos. Gradai saw the Falcon Sefer says you could even attach them with a safety pin. And even on Shabbos you could attach them. Don't forget, a safety pin like Rav Moshe is not an issa of taifa. And even those that are chayshe by taifa, by a safety pin, that's only if you make two tfiras. So if you just attach the glove to the coat and you stick the pin through both of them one time, there's no issa taifa. So someone that wants to wear gloves on a Shabbos could attach it with a safety pin or a clip, but make sure to keep it, wearing it whenever he's out b'shus harabim. Someone asked me, he says, I don't get this whole thing about not wearing gloves. You know, they say it's a chashash, you might shake hands. Today, no one shakes hands. No one even says Good Shabbos. They barely nod, zeich l'churban, that's it. But beyond that, not. First of all, people I know say Good Shabbos, shake hands. But the truth is that he's right in one respect, that chashash, that everybody says it, is not mentioned, not in the Shibali Aleket, not in Shulchan Aruch, not in Mishnah Berurah. But this is one of the hakol fi amakim v'azman. Someone just told me, Rabbi Moshe was walking in East Broadway in the east side, and he met someone, so Rabbi Moshe was the gentleman he said, Shalom Aleichem, and the person said, took off his gloves, and gave Rabbi Moshe back Aleichem Shalom. So Rabbi Moshe told this Talmud, you see, this is what Chazal were worried about. Had it been Shabbos, it's a problem, because people that are menschlich take off their gloves to shake hands. Now, why it's not mentioned in the Shibali Aleket, I don't know. But the Shibali Aleket does say when you need to use your hands, like to scratch or to remove lice. So maybe it's included in the first part of the Shibali Aleket, but there's no doubt about it. Shlomo Zalman said that this chashash of wearing gloves is the most chashash of all the other Surei D'Rabbanan. I think what he means to say is today, again, if you're wearing gloves and you meet someone, you shake his hand, you take off the gloves. So we're back to what we started, that today there is a chashash. Those that are mekel will go with the ikad din. Those that are machma, tovei alei brach. What's unusual, the Aruch Shulchan in our Shin Aleph, the end of Sif Kaf Hey, he says it without a makar, without a pashut. In makar gadol, if it's a very bitter cold, yesh lahater b'pshitas. A very cold Shabbos, you can wear a glove without a shayla. Why? I guess the cheshbon is pashut. It's not hoitzah, it's a malbish. The question is, you might come to take it off to scratch yourself or to remove lice. But if it's a bitter cold, you rather leave the itch or leave the lice, but you don't want to suffer the cold. So it's just simply a guaranteed situation that you will not take off the gloves. Now, what's noteworthy, if you learn Mishnayos in the called Kisvei, Mishnah Dalet, the 16th parak, Mishnah Dalet, where there you have 18 kelim you're allowed to wear on Shabbos to remove them, to save from a fire, both the Rav and Tosfos Yom Tov have gloves amongst the 18 kelim you're allowed to wear on Shabbos to remove it from the fire. So obviously they wore gloves on Shabbos, either it was very cold, or they did it by heter. So again, someone that's wearing gloves, you can't say he's doing wrong. If it's attached, then even your Eish Shamayim could be mekel. What is a noteworthy turn of events, so to speak, the Bach says the following: people are mekel in his times to wear gloves even though it's not attached. Why? Efshad the kivin the ein loner rishus harabim ela karmelis. Today, it's talking about his times, there's still little shtetlach, were not big cities that had shishim ribui. It wasn't the rishus harabim deraisa. You don't have to be chayshish about wearing gloves on Shabbos. And the Magen Avram, Mishnah Berurah quote this, but they add, Rayu l'chol bal nefesh lahachmir. But this is another fact. In other words, even in the worst scenario, it's not attached and the person ends up carrying the gloves, he's only doing an issa d'Rabbanan. So who says b'chai gab you have to be chayshish to ask the gloves because he might come to an issa d'Rabbanan? That's the Bach, Magen Avram, Mishnah Berurah's psak, but a bal nefesh should be machmir. So basically we could say, again, if someone wears gloves, avad, you can't look down at him. Someone that's machmir tavallah bracha. Someone that wants to wear gloves, either he attaches it, or he's saimach on the Bach that when there's no shirab deraisa, gloves are mutter. What's interesting, and I didn't find any of the earlier poskim discuss it, why do nashim seem to be convinced that they have special rights? Women wear gloves and the husbands don't. Where's this coming from? So it could be practically women are more sensitive to cold. So just like for a man is mutter kar gadol, women are mutter even in moderate cold weather. Could be also women don't shake hands typically and don't remove lice. But it seems that for some reason women are more comfortable to wear gloves. I saw the Rav Nasha Klein, the Chuvas Cheladal Tzemem says women are mutter she shayim al yemazidim, like don't try. But basically it seems that the Metzius is that women are more sensitive to cold and will not remove the gloves. Earmuffs is interesting because earmuffs is a regular malbish. It only covers the ear, so what? Gloves cover the hands and scarf covers only the neck. Gloves, earmuffs should be a malbish gomer and is mutter. But the good news is there's no chashash. You don't take it off, you shake, you don't shake it. And people, even you want to hear your friend, you could hear him through the earmuffs. It's not like blocks out the noise. And the Shmir Shabbos, Yud Ches Dalet, amongst other poskim say, there's no question whether it's the old-fashioned that's like a headphone, or the one goes only on the ears like gloves, or the ones that have elastic or bands or whatever it is. Earmuffs are mutter without the chashash that gloves have. Some of the earlier Jews, I saw the Beis Yisrael lived before the Second World War. He says the earmuffs fall off, so you shouldn't wear it, it might fall off. Okay, if you have earmuffs that fall off, so it's no different than slippers. But our earmuffs that are basically secure, avada, you could be mekel. L'chatchila, even for a bal nefesh. I should mention the Mishnah Berurah brings 2 days regarding muffs. Now muffs, the right word for muffs is not gloves that go on one on each hand. It's something you wear it in lower down, and you put both hands into like something that protects the hands. So the Taz says, my Shver the Bach says that muffs are us. I say it's more mutter. Because even if you take out one hand to scratch yourself, the other hand still remains in the muff. But Mishnah Berurah says many places say fakert. Lamaisa it falls off easily, and lamaisa it's light, and it's not like gloves that you're wearing, it comes off easy. So it seems that muffs on the hands is worse than regular gloves. Yom Kippur is around the corner, and of course the question that people ask, can I wear slippers, tongs, crocs out? B'shus harabim, just slippers. So what's the shaila? A footgear is a regular malbush. So again, this is not a Gemara. The Ramah in Sif Tezayin says you're allowed to wear slippers, even though they slip off easily, they're called slip-offs, slip-ons, like you have today's shoes. But lemaisa, they slip off easy, but lemaisa, they don't fall off. And the Ramah, based on the Rajman, Chelik Aleph Tov Reish Zayin, says that slippers are mutter to be worn b'Reshus Harabim. Then he says, a different day, that if they slip off easy, yesh machmirin v'oisrin. Because the concern is he's going to be walking in the street and they slipped off. Instead of getting frustrated, putting it back on or fall off again, he's going to end up carrying, and therefore we have a new member to our club. Like the Ramah, a second shita, slippers are awesome, he might come to carry. Now, it's 2 days in Shulchan Aruch, but Zok the Taz, ayin what I wrote later in the end of Sivkot and Chav Zayin. So of course you look up what the Taz writes. The Taz is talking about hats. And the Taz is one of those that says that a hat's are mutter today because a person will not walk in the street without a hat. And after he writes that, Zok the Taz, nearly that's why slippers today are mutter. Because no normal person is going to walk in a city street without slippers. So even a slipper that falls off, it's not an option to walk without slippers. So just like hat is mutter because you won't walk without a hat, slippers are mutter even if they're a loose fit because he just will not walk without slippers on his foot. So obviously our streets, you don't want to know what's doing on our streets, broken glass, this and that. Lamaisa the Taz is makel wearing slippers of any kind b'Reshus Harabim. The Mishnah Berurah quotes, and Sivkot and Samach Aleph quotes a Tosfos Shabbos. The Lamaisa people, you see people walk without slippers today. So he says, B'makim refesh bevadei ein lahakol. Okay, the truth is today our slippers, even crocs and even tongs, the flip-flaps, don't fall off so easily. Plus you have the Taz, I think the minig ha'olam on Yom Kippur, or even in the mountains when you go for a walk, you do go out with slippers because for two reasons. Either you won't go without them, and b'chlal, it doesn't fall off easy. I mean, I never understood why would anybody wear slippers that fall off easy. He's struggling, but he's going for a walk to struggle. So it's hard to believe that the slippers fall off easy. So certainly in our streets that we don't go without any type of foot covering, l'chayr it's mut. Now someone said, but what do you mean Yom Kippur is different? People walk in the shul without slippers, they just go with socks. I understand. In the shul is a halbatzar, but no one goes in the street with all the broken glass and other, dangerous things just because, it's not safe. So l'chayr slippers should be mut across the board. Now someone asked me this question, and I'm not advising it, but today they have skates that people go on the street with it. Can he skate on Shabbos? I guess he has a new idea of Zriza Magdim on the mitzvahs. So I asked him, by the way, is that considered psiya gasa? He's going very fast, but he's not running, he's not splitting out. So I confused him a little bit. Anyhow, but I saw the Be'er Sarim in Beis Samach Zayin. He goes to Uvda the Chayil, and he says it's definitely not appropriate for Shabbos. But what he doesn't mention is, he's talking about skates that are one piece. The shoe and the skate is one. This person had a skate that attached to the shoe. So that's another problem, because when you meet your Rosh Hashiva, you're not going to just skate by him and say, Good Shabbos. You're going to stop and probably take off the skate. So this could be another example of a chashash of taking it off. Listen to the following question. I think it's a good insight into the sugya. Many people that have this minig on Shabbos, they go with the gartel over the jacket. It's a tachshir Shabbos, a malbush of Shabbos. Fine. He wants to tighten the gartel. So he stops, takes off the gartel, and reties it, of course, b'oif and heter, and he continues walking. Is that mutter lechatchila to take off an item on Shabbos, of course, in one place, and refasten it? Or do you have to be chayshish, once he took it off, he might come to carry? So this is a good question. Tosfos in our Sugya Daf Nun Zayin says something that's also to go out with because you might come to take it off or fall off. But something that's mutter, you don't have to be chayshish, you don't have to worry you're taking it off, you might come to wear it. You're allowed to stop and take off the garment, put it back, as long as you stay in one place. And the Mechaber made a point in Shin Gimel Tezayin to quote this. You're allowed to stop and take off your jacket and put it back, or gartel. Now, he says why? Because, manashach, if you didn't forget it Shabbos, you're not going to carry. If you forget it Shabbos, so what does it help saying don't do that? You forgot it Shabbos. But Taisa doesn't add, what I think he means to say for the Pashit, that there's a simple difference between a chashash you might come to carry it, or a case of a gartel that's mutter to wear. All the cases that are problematic is because there's a sudden problem. They're laughing at you, it's falling off, the wind blew it off. It's all the nefesh mi-bahala mode that he forgets himself and forgets it's Shabbos. Someone that's an erlachayid who willingly stops to straighten out his gartel. So he's not in a panic mode, he's not bahala. So he knows it's Shabbos. So what's the problem? The only issa, the whole group of isurim are things that a person has a problem. They're laughing at him, it's falling off, it's blowing away. That a person stops thinking. He's nervous. But a regular person that's walking, he's allowed to take off the jacket and put it back. There's no chashash. The next group is a fascinating group of questions and a new shayla, and that is glasses. The Chayodam in Nun Vav Beis says, and I quote, "L'shar v'loseis habrilan ala chaytim," to wear the glasses on the nose, b'makom she'ein erev asa dilma nafil. You're not allowed to wear glasses on Shabbos. Now, it seems to be a great chiddush. You can't wear glasses on Shabbos. Now, to understand this, you have to know a little bit of history. Chayodim lived approximately 250 years ago. In those, they didn't have glass like we have today. They had basically the two lenses and something that went on the nose. You know, we call it a spectacle. The right word, interestingly, is pince nez, which comes, someone told me this, from the shirish of pinch nose. In other words, it didn't have temples like our glasses have. So how did it stay on the nose? So I think a little of a balancing act and a little bit Saimchan al-Nes. But basically, that's what it was. You got this, push it onto the nose and it stayed. Oh. But you could understand that if a person sneezed, they might go flying. He's walking and he takes too big of a step where he hits a bump, it goes flying. So the glass had very little support. And it's very meduyik in the Lashon Chayodam, al chaytmai. You know, you wear glasses, we wear glasses. You don't lost al chaytmai. And this I probably could tell you a dozen gedolei apoiskim, the Shalom Meishiv, the Karen LeDavid. If you want to see a nice discussion, the Mincha Shabbos and Peidalet Vav goes through the Metzias, what was prevalent in the Chayodam's times, our times, that glasses have a secure fit with the temples around the ears. He quotes many poiskim that our glasses are mutter because there's no chashash. Hakol lefi hamakam v'hazman. The only concern is reading glasses. In other words, someone that can't see without the glasses is mutter. Someone that could see, Baruch Hashem, he just needs it for small letters. So that's not part of the person. And when he's not reading, he will take it off. You'll say, but I want to see Rashi when I'm Avasedra. Very good, but you can't carry a Rashi because you need from Avasedra. Says the Aruch HaShulchan very forcefully in Siman Samach Aleph, reading glasses chayev chatas. You want to learn, so either don't learn or learn at home. But if you need a sefer, you'll have to carry a sefer. So reading glasses is not part of the person, and there's a chashash of haitzah. Some people have bifocals, that part of it's reading, part of it is seeing. That obviously is mutter, said the Shmir HaShabbos, Yudches Tezayib, because you will never take off the glasses. So basically, whenever there's a chashash haitzah, we don't wear on Shabbos. Sunglasses is a real chashash of taking it off. Because now it's sunny, but it suddenly becomes cloudy, or he goes into a shady area, he doesn't want to wear glasses, he takes them off. So that's why all the poskim agree, regular glasses are mutter, sunglasses are a problem. Now some people have prescription glasses, which they see and it's tinted, or, I'll tell you something, I've seen this more commonly and recently, I guess people they're sensitive to sun rays, and they wear something that looks more like a mask that covers their entire eye on all sides, and they must go out, Pashut, I guess they're sensitive to the sun. Lamaisa, that's also mutter, because they can't and they won't take it off. Once we are certain that the person will keep on wearing it, l'chayra, there's no chashash. The Lamdin comes along with the following question. He wants to have an option of sunglasses. He doesn't want to have prescription sunglasses. So he buys what used to be more common, but today you still could get it. It's called clip-ons. He clips on a sunglass feature onto his regular glasses. So what's his cheshbon? In the worst scenario, I'm not going to take it off. I'll just flip it off, flip it up. So he's wearing the clip-ons as flip-offs, whatever, in an up position. The question is, in the worst scenario, are you allowed to go out wearing the clip-ons flipped up? So the Chayr will say that's like attaching gloves. Once it's attached, it's mutter. But that's not true, because even attached gloves are only mutter if you're wearing the gloves. Here, the clip-ons are flipped up. He's not using it. But I saw, besides the Har Tzvi and the Tshuva, and the Haras Nasan, Shmir Shabbos, Yudches also says this, that since it's attached securely to the glasses, it becomes part of the glasses. It would be more similar to a coat that has a hood that you don't wear the hood. Even though you could zipper on and off the hood. But once it's a part of the tzuras habeged, it's mutter. So he's comparing a hood of a coat to a clip-on sunglasses. The truth is the dimion is not convincing, because a hood is an integral part of the coat. This is called in English an accessory. It's added. But apparently they held once it's securely attached to the glasses, it becomes part of the glasses. Contact lenses is certainly mutter, because that's his vision. The only thing is that Shmir Shabbos Yud Zayin points out that if he's not yet used to wearing contact lenses, it's still irritating the eye, there might be a chashash that'll take it off. He tries and it's just too disturbing. So that's back to the original chashash of something that a person can't tolerate, he might come to carry it. The question that I would love to hear a better answer is what I began the Fruma Bacha, that whenever he goes in the street, if he sees something inappropriate, he takes off his glasses. Now, these are glasses he can't see without. But if you tell me he takes it off occasionally in the streets, so how could you wear it on Shabbos? So I looked into it. It seems to be a very common shayla. Rav Vozner Chelik Ches Mem Ches was asked a different shayla. Someone that always wears his glasses. It's regular glasses. But he asked Rav Vozner, since when I see something in the street, I take it off, maybe it's no longer necessary, because you see I go without it. So Rav Vozner says, no, really, you need it. And you should hopefully be gezut and see. But if you take it off occasionally, that's just al shmir sanayim. But he doesn't address the point, but what do I do? Can I wear it on Shabbos, or do I have to be concerned I'll take it off? The Chut Shani Amid Kuf Chav Dalid Taka says, person that is used to taking off his glasses b'shas harab should not wear them b'shas harab. I mean, tell me you take it off. Why is it different than the regular halacha that you can't wear it, you might come to carry it? If he does it all the time, I told this person, I don't know if a good heter, but I can tell you, if you wear straps, which people do, on the glasses, then you have the heter, something similar to gloves. Either it will remind you, or you have it attached, so even the worst scenario, you won't take it off. And last but not least, achrein chav, achrein hichbet is a better word, is the very big sugya of tachshitim. So basically, a tachshit is considered part of a person like a malbush. But, says the Mishnah in Shabbos Nun Zayin, and the Gemara Nun Tesma Beis, Samach Dalamad Beis, and Shulchan Aruch Shin Gimel Yud Ches, Chazal forbade wearing tachshitim, like the Gemara's Lashon in Nun Tesma Beis, Dil Masholfa Umachvele Va'asil Asuyeh. A person will take off the jewelry to show them off, and mistakenly carry them instead of wearing them. Now this is a real Issa D'Rabbanan. In fact, there are Tanoim in the Sugya, Daf Samach Dalam at Beis. There are Tanoim that hold it's so much Asa that even in the house you can't wear jewelry, because you might go out without thinking and carry it there. Now, we paskin, Baruch Hashem, that in the house, in the chutz is mutter, but otherwise, b'reshus harabim, there's a problem of gezeiros tachshitim. However, poik chazi, the women wear jewelry, and the question is why. So this is basically three heterim mentioned by Tosfos in Samach Dalar Amud Beis in the bottom. Basically, Tosfos says, today we rarely have a reshus harabim deraisa. Maybe Chazal only asked tachshitin in a place there's a deraisa. But in the shtetlach that we live in, small shtetlach, there's no deraisa. Chazal never asked the jewelry at all. which would mean if there is a Shlam Deraisa, you have a problem. The second teretz of Taisis is a more fundamental teretz. And I'm going to add a little bit what the Archashoch and others embellish Taisvis, that in the Gemara's times, the people were very poor, and additionally, women were more focused on Kol Kfuda Bas Melech Pnima. Women did not go out even during the week. The Rambam says a woman went out once a month for tefillah. Also, as the Archashoch adds in Siv Chav Beis and Shin Gimel, women didn't go to shul. They didn't have the women's section. And if a woman had jewelry and she went out on Shabbos, there was a very real chashash that she's going to show it off. The lifestyle was conducive for this chashash. Number one, they rarely went out. They rarely had jewelry. So if these two coincide, they had jewelry, they went out, there was a real chashash. But says Taisvis, today, women don't show off the jewelry. They have plenty of jewelry. They go out during the week. And as the Archashoch says, during the week and on Yom Tov, they don't show it off. So why are you going to ask on Shabbos? So in other words, there is no chashash of carrying. Simple. Now, this is not a Hamisha Svara. The same Gemara that asks jewelry adds an Isha Chashuva. Chashuva in this context means wealthy, not necessarily prominent. But a wealthy woman's allowed to wear jewelry because she doesn't show it off. So we see a precedent in the Gemara that if you are certain that they're not going to show it off, it's mutter. So basically we're going to say today's women are all chashuvim. They wear jewelry and they don't show it off. And at the end of Taisvis he adds also, by the way, mutter she is shaygim al yiyum mazidim. So basically Taisvis says the minig has become that women wear jewelry. And that's the halach in Shin Gimel, Sif Yud Ches of Shulchan Aruch. The Archashoch says emphatically it's a heter, nachain ubar. In other words, don't guilt trip your women. Okay, you're not going to listen anyhow, so wear jewelry. Archashoch is convinced that the other two terutzim of Taisa are the ikka and it's mutter. The Chazaynish in Dina Van Hogas Yudal Zayin says it's mutter lechatchila. You'd often encourage the women not to wear jewelry. I saw Reb Shmuel Oyabach quoted in the Archas Shabbos Amid Reish Yud Beis. He says, some things we find that we tried working with women. Lamashal, women that eat, the Gemara says in Yuma, they eat after this man on Yom Kippur, mutter she is shaking, but we try to change that. Here we don't find Achrayim changing it. It seems to be a heter bar, not a b'di'evid. Which, truth is, the Goyin and Ma'isiraf, Kuf Membeis, insist that a woman that the woman will listen to you, tell her not to wear jewelry, but that's not the minig. The Gedali Achrayim says, women should not be guilt-tripped. It's mutter, l'chatchila, for women to wear jewelry. But now, Rabbi, let's talk tachlis, our shaylas. Can a man wear jewelry? Can a man wear a tachshit? Chosin, watch that, is clearly a tachshit. So the question really is, are we show-offs? Is there a chashash b'chal we're going to show off? So you look in Shulchan Aruch earlier, Shin Aleph Tes, there are 2 days in the Rishonim. Some say, men, there's no chashash, and some say there is a chashash. But what's interesting is the Shulchan Aruch adds a tachshit that both men and women wear alike. Even if you hold there's no issa by men per se, but a tachshit that men and women wear similarly, there's an issa al sloi plug. You can't have an issa only for women, not for men. It has to be streamlined. So the Mechaber says a tachshit that's made for men and women, men are certainly asa to wear. So that means l'chayra, a watch and a ring for a man is asa. After all, that's a tachshit that's not exclusive for men. But wait a second, we just proved that even women could wear jewelry. So how can a man be worse? Doesn't make sense. A man's also al-sloi plug, but women are mutter. And that's the chayra, what the Mechaber seems to hold. Since women today are mutter, men are no different. Comes again Rabbi Kiva and Shin Gimel Yud Ches with a very logical addition. And he says, if you go with Taisvis' third reason, that the heter is mutter she is shoygin, don't bother trying to tell them, just let them do it. A man that will listen is more chama than women. Because tell them, don't do it. In other words, the original chashash applies, but for women, mutter shoygin. For a man, there's no mutter she is shoygin. And Zogt Reb Kiva Eiga, maybe that's why the Mechaba in Shin Aleph Tes sends you to Shin Gimel Yud Ches to imply that maybe there's a reason a man should be Machmir. But he says, but then again, Lamaisa today we don't have a Shirab Deraisa, but Bal Nefesh Yachush La'atzmai Shleilotzeis Betabas Klal. So here we have clarity in our sugya. Kiva Eiga is saying that a man is allowed to wear a ring or a watch. Bal Nefesh Yachmir. Now, our question, a person that wants to wear his wedding ring, you can't say it's us, it's mutter. We could tell him, the Kiva Eiga says Bal Nefesh Yachmir, but it's not worse than that. The Arletzia in the Chav Gimel Yud Aleph says the minig is men do wear rings, I guess in his society, but again, it's only Kiva Eiga is Bal Nefesh Yachmir. Interesting question. A man wears cufflinks, or a lamdin wears cufflinks with a watch in it. Is that the same Bal Nefesh Yachmir? So I saw two Gedolei HaPoskim say that even the Chumrah of the Kiva Eiga Bal Nefesh Yachmir is only something that men and women wear alike. So there was a original light plug. If you have jewelry exclusive for men, there's no light plug. So even Rabbi Kiva Eiga would agree that a man could wear jewelry that's exclusively worn by men, which is a good for cufflinks. I see many people, especially, today you don't see it that much, but so many chashuv people used to wear tie clips on their tie. Tachshit is very nice, but what's the heter? So the truth is both tie clips and cufflinks could be mutter for a different reason. It's not just a tachshit, it's a tzarech for the malbush mamish. But again, something that's a tachshit exclusively for a man has the heter, even according to Rabbi Kiva Eiga, because there's no light plug. I'll give you a good example. Today, once again, we see men wearing feathers in their hat. So that is a tachshit only for men. Women don't wear feathers in their hats. So that would be mutter, even though it's only a tachshit because of this heter. Now, the Ber Moshe in Chela Gimel Samates was asked about a man, it was the last time I was in style, maybe 40 years ago. So he quoted the Unzdorfer Rav that maybe the feathers are tachshit, but the person that wears it is not a tachshit. So approach, with caution. But one thing I will tell you, for a man to wear a chosin watch that's definitely a tachshit, would be mutter mikadadin, but like Rabbi Kiva Eiga, Bal Nefesh Yachmir. But I will say, and I had this shayla more than once, a person came to shul, let's say on a 3-day Yom Tov, or Yom Tov going into Shabbos, he came with his chosin watch, because Yom Tov is allowed to wear a watch. And he ended up going home wearing his chosin watch. Does he have to stop and drop it? Because now it's Shabbos. So here we have the heter that we said, that really a chosin watch is a tachshit. It's only a chum al Kiva Eiga, Bal Nefesh Yachmir. So in this case that he's stuck, he could be saimach on the ikad din, that is no inside so. If he went out mistakenly wearing his regular cheap watch, that's taka problem. Because without Rav Moshe's big cool that a watch is a malbush, according to most places, a watch is also to wear. It's a heter. Now what do you do if you mistakenly made heter on Shabbos? Drop it by the Mokum B'tur. So that would be a chilik chosin watch or regular watch. Let me leave you with the ha'ara to think about. It's a tremendous eye-opener, a kasha with an incredible teretz. We learned today two good examples of things that are mutter bisman hazeh, because we don't have Rishus Rabban Deraisa. We learned jewelry according to Tyson is mutter today because it's not more than a Drabanan. And we also learned gloves like the Bach is mutter because we don't have usually big cities. Now we have a question that we really have to find a good answer. When Rosh Hashanah falls on Shabbos, or Sukkot falls on Shabbos, or Purim and Eretz Yisrael falls on Shabbos, why do we not blow shofar, take dalaminim, or lein Megillah? Why don't we say the same heter? You're allowed to wear gloves and you're allowed to wear jewelry. And it comes to shofar, our magain of all protections, we don't wear blow shofar. If you change jewelry and gloves, what about shofar and dalaminim and Megillah? So I found the Rishonim asked this. At least it's according to some Rishonim. The Besamim Roish in the Tshuvas in Shinlun Tes, quoted by the Marsham in Gimel Kuf Beiches, asked this very question. And his teretz is remarkable. He says, really, the whole thing doesn't make sense. The shofar is a deraisa, the ikka avoida Rosh Hashanah. because of a remote chashash that one person might carry, you asa shayfa. What's the logic of it? Says the Psalm and Rosh. According to some, he was the Rosh. Some say it was a later person, but it was something prominent. That really, there's no real chashash. But the Torah was given to Chachamim to make gezeiros. And Chazal wanted to strengthen Shmir HaShabbos in a dramatic way. And Chazal made such a bold statement, don't blow shofar because one person might come to carry. It's not really a real chashash, but it's a statement. Memela Zokdip Samim Rosh, to go say that today is mutter because we have no Rosham Deraisa would defeat the purpose. That would send a riffian. So Chazal maintained the original Issa to show the goddess of Shmir HaShabbos. So that's the Chiddush of today. We have a Shabbos Kodesh, we have to keep it properly. I'll get to talk to you all. Thanks again.
Shem Egen Shir Torah, like to be a Shekar, Smith for today's shir, like to remind Olam, there will be a shir next Sunday, Rosh Hashanah, as well as Erev Sukkot. See what's in the table, shir. Topic to be announced. And the Rasul says, seek him of today's shir in 5 minutes. So, Chananya ben Akashem, Ratzakash Baruch Lazakis, says, Yisrael Afika, Hebram, Torah, Mitzvah, Shanema, Alay Chofes, Aman Tzidko, Yagdol, Torah, V'yader.
During the summer, it's not.
You didn't do it.
He's saying that's why I stayed out of trouble. Stayed out of trouble. Maybe, how are you?
Yeah, he goes home.
Is he right down? I don't know.
Office over there.
There's something, this is over. Yeah, I like a plan.
Why? Look at him, I feel good.
Are we going? Ready?
Place everyone has their watches on, so they're checking the time. It's hopefully it's not more than 5 minutes. The Smith is going to say the sikkim of today's shir.
Okay, we learned today based on 8 Gemaras that even a heter gomer, malbish or a tachshit, if there's a reasonable chashash, either that it will fall off, or he'll take it off, or they'll laugh at him, or he'll show off. But any of these reasons that the item will fall off, take off, show off, or laugh at him, Chazal said don't wear it in the first place. It's not hoitzah. If you went out with it by mistake, continue going. It's not carrying. The Chazal didn't make it ois beged. But definitely, as the Paiskim say, one should not go out with an item that he might come to carry on Shabbos. Of course, it's all totally in the Mokum and the Zman. And if something is socially acceptable, then he's not going to laugh at him. So then the halacha, of course, would adapt to the current mitzias. Wearing one shoe is asa unless makasi machiach alav, or unless he's limping, and it's obvious why he's only wearing one shoe. Otherwise, it should be a problem. A child wearing a shtreimel, a beged that is totally inappropriate for that child, or a winter coat during the summer, pashtus should be asa. But we had a kasha from a Tosefta, from a Machaba, that once it's a beged, it's mutter for all, and we left it, I guess, somewhat unresolved. All agree a me'il, a raincoat, when it stopped raining, is socially acceptable, it's done, and there's no shaila. A hat, either the heter is because it's a tight fit, or a person makes it all tight. Some people take off the yarmulke and only have the hat, but in a society that people don't go without a hat, even though they have a yarmulke, that would be an additional heter, and that's why the Welt does wear a hat. Rishus harabim. Mi'ikad din, gloves are mutter, bal nefesh yachmir, and either attach it, or very cold weather, it's mutter without being attached. And Noshim seem to take the approach that they will not take off the gloves under any circumstances, and that's why women wear gloves even in not such cold weather. For them it's more sensitive, and it's like cold weather for men. Earmuffs are mutter across the board. Slippers today are l'chayr mutter in all cases, unless there's a rare situation of muddy area and he'll walk if it's not in the street. But basically slippers today can be worn on Shabbos, Yom Kippur, and certainly most of them don't fall off bichlal. Skates, of course, is a problem. Taking off and putting back an item of clothing, a gartel, a jacket, since there's no bahala, that Taisis and the Shulchan Aruch says it's mutter. Reading glasses are a problem, are also, the Shulchan says it's deraisa. Regular glasses are mutter. Sunglasses are like reading glasses, which we will take off, and there's a chashash. Bifocals are mutter because he needs whatever he needs at that time. Glass that are worn to protect the eyes, and according to the doctor, should not be taken off, are mutter. Clip-ons, we saw most poskim are makel even if he flips them up. Contact lenses are mutter unless he's not used to them and they're irritating the eye at that moment and he might take them off. Someone that takes off glasses because of Shmiras Hanayim is a tzarachin if he's allowed to go out with those glasses on Shabbos. If he wears a band, that would be a heter. A tachshit for women today is mutter. The Goyen advised telling women not to, but the poskim are makel chatchila for women to wear tachshitim for three main reasons. A man today is also mutter to wear tachshitim. Rabbi Akiva Eiger says about nefesh yachmir, but as we said, a tachshit exclusive for a man, as we said, a feather in the hat, a pin in the hat, or a tie clip, or cufflinks are mutter even according to Rabbi Akiva Eiger. A chassan watch, or a man wearing a ring, or let's say jewelry, if he wears a necklace, if he's not concerned about la yilbash, but that would be a bal nefesh yachmir according to Rabbi Akiva Eiger. We left the question why today it's mutter, why we don't say it's mutter to blow shayfa. I forgot to mention the Bialacha in Shin Gimel Yudches asked that question. Besides the Samim Reish and the Teret seems to be, the message has to be loud and clear. We have to cherish the Shabbos and be real, true Shomerei Shabbos. Yeah, but it's still a kash, it's not true. There's something that made up the difference of you have to be creative. Like I said, the problem is that when clothes, the asses in that, women is the movie she's saying, man, there is no movie she's saying. Very hard. Once you go, mutter, because she's saying, so one man will get it out again.
That means it's also the mutter she's saying.
Maybe it's based on its height of thought. Yeah?
Gold line, or the white gold line, and that's the